So when you're thinking about like marketing and trying to create accurate, honest, and responsible marketing, how do you think of like the division of responsibilities there? How much is like the marketer's responsibility to make sure the things they're creating for these clients, for these companies, whatever, are accurate? How much is it the company's job themselves to make sure the marketing they're releasing is accurate? And like, how do you see regulators, like you mentioned FINRA, but also for a lot of advertising, the FCC or other things like that, fitting into the picture of responsible marketing?
So just like in every other regulatory area, the FCC is asleep at the wheel. Consider them as toothless as the SEC. We all know how little they do for the actual bad actors. Um, the company is accountable for marketing. The buck stops with, it should stop at a real company with the CMO. They should be empowered enough to ship campaigns. But obviously, if, some promise is made in the market that wasn't delivered on by the product or the company, like that's a problem, right? And so when you're talking about like trust in advertising, the reason a lot of people don't trust advertisers is because a lot of advertisers make bad promises. You look at something as simple as the QSR, the quick serve restaurant industry, where in their ad they serve it looks like a beautiful burger, beautiful Whopper from Burger King, and you go in and it is depressing as hell, and it's, you don't see those fresh vegetables, and they don't dress the food, they literally dress it for ad shoots. And so
Have you seen Falling Down? I know
I
this
have,
is
yeah, yeah, yeah.
God, that there's such a wonderful. I just, for anyone who's listening, I recommend at least that scene of Falling Down. He goes to a burger joint and he wants the breakfast burger or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, it's a minute past 11," and he loses his shit completely, and then he just wants a burger, and they give him a burger, and he's like, "Do you see what's wrong with this picture?" And he totally loses his shit. But yeah, it's just very reminiscent. It's all coming back to me in floods of like, this is not new in
No,
some sense, right? Like this is an ongoing issue it's been going on for decades
now
and decades
the
now. I
good
mean,
news here, the good news here is, let's put regulatory aside for a minute, and let's say any company can go hog wild and say whatever they want, make whatever crazy promises they want, which a lot do already. So if you play that story out for long enough, thanks to the internet and transparency and social media and online reviews and our ability to share directly with each other, your false promises come back to you nearly instantaneously. And that is actually a cool thing, because you see brands like Chewy is a great example. They're the new generation pets.com. They did everything, that pets.com did wrong right at the right time. They go so far above and beyond, not just with product and delivery and service, but I saw a story where someone had said to Chewy, they'd sent that person their recurring dog food order, and their dog died sadly, and they sent a note to them, hey, I don't need this, need this box of dog food because my dog passed away. They're like, please keep the dog food. And the whole Chewy team sent a note to them, like saying, we're so sorry in this time of need, right? Like the above and beyond level of customer service there, they're over delivering on the product. They're over delivering on that brand promise. Actually, Amazon, love or hate them now, in their early days to win customers, like Jeff Bezos really sweated every customer experience had to be awesome. You could email Jeff and he would find out what happened to your order, and he would, obviously he's crazy, but he would like yell at people to make it right. So I'm not saying you have to yell at people. There's better ways to do that. But as part of like the brand promise, like since we live in a increasingly commodified world, infinite choice, we want to buy from people and from companies that deliver a good promise. I actually think that the internet is empowering consumers in such a way that companies haven't even started to understand this. You see with, like, I've emailed companies or DM companies online and gotten response like a week or two later, and by that point I had purchased from a competitor. So like they're not paying attention to a lot of this, and I think there's a whole bunch of startups building better tools for marketers to be able to, and customer service teams to be able to service users. But at the same time, I was ranting about my peers a little bit. I think that we need fresh blood in. There's a generation of marketer who has literally never opened Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, an analytics tool, and they're the ones that are making the decisions of ad budgets and making the decisions of hires. And so there needs to be a regime change there, and I think it will slowly happen. And I think we'll see a lot more disruption of companies like really getting disrupted by a lot of cool upstarts. D2C brands are an example where this small brand goes on Shark Tank and they have like $10 million in sales for some CPG product that a dinosaur company never even thinks about, right? And who are you going to buy from? Like this cool, quirky startup of to this family that's super passionate, or like the faceless, dinosaur company that is still spending, money to run ads on Fox News that no one sees, right? So I do think a balancing function will happen.